my name's John Lee Pettimore. The same as my daddy and his daddy before. You hardly ever saw Granddaddy down here. He only come a town about twice a year. He'd buy 100 pounds of yeast and some copper line. Everybody knew that he made moonshine. Now the revenue man wanted Granddaddy bad. Headed up to Hollywood, everything he had. Before my time, but I've been told never come back from Copperhead Road. Now Daddy ran whiskey in a big black Dodge. Bought it at an auction at the Mason's Lodge. Johnson County Sheriff painted on the side. Just shot a coat of primer, then he looked inside. Well, him and my uncle tore that engine down. I still remember that rumbling sound. Well, the sheriff came round in the middle of the night. Heard Mama crying, there's something wasn't right. He headed down to Knoxville with a weekly load. You could smell the whiskey burning down the Copperhead Road. Hey! 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 I volunteered for the army on my birthday. They trapped the white trash first found here anyway. I done 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, and I came home with a brand new plan. I take the seed from Colombia and Mexico. I just planted up the holler down at Copperhead Road. Now the DA's got a chopper in the air. Wake up screaming like I'm back over there. I learned a thing or two from Charlie, don't you know? You better stay away from Copperhead Road. Gang! Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. Oh my God, it brings a tear to my eye. My song finally available for the world to hear. You know it'll be a #1 seller. I can't sell it. Anyway, please feel free to share it with your friends. Obviously a superior version of that song. And the real behind the music story of the song Copperhead Road by Steve Earle, a.k.a. Eric Zane. All right, let's get started on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast as you all process what you just heard, which was incredible. Got a number of clips that I want to play for you. A lot of the stuff in this first edition of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast goes way back. Like the first 2 weeks of the podcast, which, here we are just past 4 years of podcasting. Let's start it off with you can never go wrong if you're telling a story about the YMCA. Not the song by the Village People, but this is a story about when I ran into this couple, and I don't know where they are today. I hope they're still with us. Gary and Gloria. Holy shit. All I wanted to do was take a dump, and I ran into these two chatty Cathys that were slowing me down. Holy crap. It's to kick off this edition of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. I have a story for you. I'll just get right to it. From the YMCA. I need to get comfortable here. All right. So, it's pretty typical. I'm on the treadmill. I'm finishing up. And then I have to take a shit. I hope this is, I hope this, I don't know why I'm getting a weird vibe that the Wi-Fi is jacked, but if it is, I'm going to keep it going. Sorry. All I have to do is take a dump because you've heard how that happens to me. I run, and all of a sudden it's like, here it comes. So I'm like, all right. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to get rid of these comments. I can't tell this story. All right. Learning curve. Shut off comments. Because I just can't, it just keeps distracting me. Business as usual. Get off the treadmill. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad I'm done. Because I got to go. Turn around, and there's a gentleman on the Stairmaster. And he starts to take out his earbud, and he's kind of looking at me, and he's getting off of the Stairmaster. And I know he wants to say something. And he said, "Look, I'm a friend of. I don't know if I may have met you in the past. I think he did meet me in the past, but actually, I asked him. I go, have we met?" Because after he said this, he goes, "I'm a friend of so and so, and I just want to say you're handling this." You're firing with a lot of class. And I said, well, that is very nice. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. And all the while I'm thinking, I need to shit. So while I'm thinking that, I can sense that this is not going to be a long interaction. This guy seemed to be short and sweet, and that was very, very nice of him to do that. So I'm going to escape and get into the shitter in quick time. But it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more frantic on my butthole at this point. But I wasn't too scared. But then, behind dude, I see another person. It's Gary. Gary's about 166 years old. I love him dearly. He comes walking up, and he makes eye contact with me. And he goes, hey! He's one of these guys that, even though I'm talking to the guy, he wants to jump in. So I go, all right, I got to diffuse this. Because now we're starting to get closer to eruption on my ass. I'm finishing up with dude. Gary walks up. He goes, where you been? I go, I've been around. And I said, I made a mistake. I said, I'll come talk to you in a minute. Now, how the fuck am I going to do that? And he goes, I'll wait here. And I'm like, oh, God. Okay. Now, here's the problem with Gary. He is a legendary repeater on his stories. There's no getting out of the stories. It's an abyss. You will feel your life force being sucked out of you like a fucking dementor is pulling your soul. So I'm really concerned about this. Now, all I have to do is say, hey, can you excuse me? But I don't think, whenever I'm face to face with people, I don't think like that. So I got done with dude, and I turn around. There's Gary. what are you doing these days? He doesn't know anything about what the hell's going down. And he used to watch Channel 13 when I was on with Greg and Chris. He would watch it, and that's how he got to be a fan of me. He didn't listen. He doesn't have anything to do about the radio thing, but he would follow me on Channel 13. Well, and I tell him, I go, well, actually, he asked me what I was doing these days last. I'm already screwing the story up. But he starts in a story, and he goes, I still watch Channel 13 with your old mates there. I go, you see them? Good. Yeah, that's always been a very great thing. That's awesome. And he says to me, he goes, after Lauren left, there was a young lady on there named Farron Franzen. Are you familiar with Farron Franzen? And I go, I know that name. I know she came into town and then she disappeared like a fart in the wind. Well, Gary thinks he's got the mystery solved as to what fucking happened to Farron. So I'm just throwing this out there. If anybody can confirm or deny, you can send it along to eric@ericzaneshow.com. Yeah, so this tart is on the TV. And apparently, according to Gary, and she's super hot, by the way, she was in the studio. She was in the studio, and they were on the air. And Gary says to me, and she was wrapping up. It was as business as usual. It's as enjoyable as it always is when they're on. And she said something off color. And I heard it. And I went, huh? This is Gary talking, of course. And I go, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, she said something. I go, well, what did she say? And did she say, like, lick my balls? Or, no, I don't remember. But she said, and then you know what? She was gone. She disappeared. She left. And so I was like, oh, okay. Wow, that's something. Now, at this point, the shit is, it's pushing. It's major pressure now, okay? It's going from solid turd to liquid. It's getting pulverized by my body. And then this happens. Like I said. Now, as soon as anybody says, like I said, they're going to say the same fucking thing. Like I said, I like to watch Channel 13. And, she disappeared after she said something. And I look at Gloria, and Gloria's like, I think she said something fucked up. And you told me the same fucking story. Gary, I gotta take a shit. He said it again. He said it 3 times. And then he asked me, what are you doing? And prior to him asking me that, I then committed to sticking in for the long haul because I knew I would be able to share this story with you, and I had to take the punishment. I had to take one for the team to be able to tell, and it's not even fucking close to being done here. So Gary goes, what are you doing? And all I said was, I'm working from home. And I don't know how this happened, but the next thing out of his mouth was, my cousin lives up north. I shit you not. My cousin lives up north. And he had a long career with AAA. Sold insurance, 31 years. I go, uh-huh. My eyes are brown. I got shit coming out of my eyes. And I'm like, you're telling me about your cousin selling AAA. I go, yeah, uh-huh. And I know that I gotta power through. I can't just interrupt him. Hey, that would be rude, and then I wouldn't be able to tell this to you. Hang on. And, he he figured out this thing that you can do like online work, and I tell you what, 2-3 days is the only time he has to leave the home. He does it from up north, and AAA. He works for AAA. 31 years. And my God, I tell you what, because nowadays you can actually, like, if there's an accident, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, somebody can take a picture and send it to my brother or my cousin, whatever the fuck it was, I don't remember. Send it to him, and then he can do the claim right there. He doesn't have to go anywhere. He does it all at home. You wouldn't believe it. I'm like, Jesus, that's great, Gary. And it finally concludes after all of that. And I told you this in real time. That's how much time it took him to explain this to me. The time that we've been talking, that I've been talking to you, that's the amount of time it took. I'm not fucking around here. That's how serious this was. Now I got a shit, and so I'm walking so funny that it's just like, it looks comical. And I ran into Gary's wife. It's Gloria. Now, there's no way in hell I can shoo her off. I'm like, fuck me. Are you serious? You gotta be kidding me. There she comes in for the big hug. And I'm like, oh, God, you're gonna squeeze the shit right out of me. Oh no. And so I'm just like, hey, how are you? I just talked to your better half. Oh, no, he's not your better half. He's your lesser half. I'm doing all this shit to keep it, the small little, hey, how are you? And then what do they call those platitudes? I don't know. I've heard that before. I don't want to even use it because I don't even know the meaning of that thing. So I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was about a minute and a half more. And I have seconds. Okay, I don't have minutes and halves. While she's walking up, I kid you not, another friend walked up. Now I've got two friends in my face. My best friend in the whole world, Skinny Jimmy, formerly known as Skinny Jimmy, now known as Fast Jimmy. My wife calls him Skinny Jimmy. You've heard him on the radio. His dad is there, and so I can't. This is my best friend in the whole world's father. So I got to ask, how are the grandkids? How's mom? How's everything going? And so I'm doing all this shit, and I'm two-headed monster shit coming out of my asshole, and I'm just freaking out. And finally broke free and made it to where I needed to be. Right on that toilet. Oh, my God. Gary and Gloria, man, I wonder what you're doing today. I hope you're doing fine. Oh, boy. Now I'm wondering, Okay. Off and running on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. As you know, I have a Patreon, and as I indicated, I have some stuff that, I hadn't heard. It's from an old file-sharing site that I found. I got my hands on, and I'm going to post away. Just let you have it, no matter what's on there. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. I'll just leave it at that. I know you're going to love it, though, as you will all of the other programming, I hope, on Patreon. Try it out for just $5 a month. It is listener-supported, ad-free. This podcast, the free one, obviously I have commercials throughout it that I sell to the actual business owners, but Patreon's all you. And all of these things kind of come together and keep the podcast going and growing. All these little things kind of add up. So please, in addition to supporting me by giving me your time and listening to the free podcast, for $5 or $10 a month, I give you so much more podcasting. For some of you folks who spend a lot of time listening to shows, what's better than Eric Zane? More Eric Zane, for God's sake. And I really put a lot of time and energy into the Patreon. I would love it so much if you would try it for just 1 month. Just try it for a month. $5 or $10, that's all you're out. And if you like it, convert it to a yearly, and then I'll knock 10% off of the cost. If you don't like it, well, you're out $5 or $10. Who gives a shit? And you've helped me. So I appreciate that. So thank you so much. Try Patreon for just 1 month. Make it a goal for New Year's. Try Patreon for 1 month. patreon.com/Eric Zane. Thank you, as always, to Frank Fuss, My Policy Shop Insurance, who last week I think I called him Frank Fuck by accident. But this just popped into my head. On a lot of these early clips, I'm not the best of. I don't swear. I sound a lot different. I would like to think that in 4 years, the fluidity and the things that fly out of my mouth require less thought, and that's better. Just going from experience. If you ever have to think about what you're going to say, you're fucked. And there got to a point where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I biting my tongue like some kind of asshole? So some of these stories, you're going to hear me say like, so I said the F word. So what the fuck are you doing? I think at one point I even was like, okay, free podcast, no swearing, Patreons when I go crazy, which is just stupid. My God. All right. Anyway, Frank Fuss, buyinsurancehere.com, 616-914-4070. It's all weird because I said mypolicyshop.com and then I said buyinsurancehere.com. It's all Frank. Now, if you need any assistance signing up for healthcare.gov Obamacare, which is people who are self-employed or their employer does not offer insurance or they were recently fired or resigned, said they were resigned when in fact they actually were fired, but they said they resigned. You know, they were an asshole who, like, hypothetically maybe punched a chick in the face. And then the boss didn't want that person around because he punches chicks in the face. You can get a hold of Frank Fuss to get your health care. 616-914-4070. Frank is an expert on Obamacare, and what he does for his clients is free. He gets paid by the insurance company. So put Frank's expertise and knowledge to work for you as a licensed independent insurance agent / broker. Thank you, Frank. Thank Frank. And do call him and mention my name because we're in like a negotiation right now. We're like breaking down. You know, what's that scene from Cinderella Man? My heart's for my family. My brain and my balls are for business. That's what we got going there. Thank you, Kent County Health Department. If you need information on the WIC program, immunizations for the little ones, for little or no costs, WIC is great because, you know, that keeps the food on the table. Sometimes people get into a jam where feeding the family is compromised, and fuck that. Get everything you need to know about the WIC program at the Kent County Health Department. AccessKent.com/health. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk about the initiatives that you have that just help people. All right. Moving on. The next segment on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. It's actually a two-parter. Part 1 of 2. Go Josh Go joins me on the show. Go Josh Go is the dude who filled in with me on WBBL for a week. I've known him for years. He also is with me doing the Grand Rapids Griffins hockey games. He is the in-stands announcer, and I love him dearly. He joined me in like my first week and a half doing the Eric Zane Show podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, handsome Josh. Go, Josh, go.
Hello. I'm here.
How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I don't have anything to complain about.
Good.
Are you a complainer?
No.
You bitch? I've
No.
never heard you. I think I've ever heard you pissed. I've never heard
It
you
happens.
mad.
It takes a lot, but
Hold on,
it does
before we do
happen.
anything. This show is being broadcast from the Back Alley Comedy Club Studios, okay? Studio, tongue-in-cheek. My daughter's bedroom, okay? That's the Back Alley Comedy Club Studios.
Yes, I do like the One Direction stickers on the wall here. That's kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, I did take a picture of that. I have a still picture that I posted. You don't know you're beautiful, One Direction, and I love One Direction. My daughter, I'm never going to let her live that down. One day when she meets Mr. Right, we need to bring that out. just those pictures of the wall.
Yep.
But Josh, appreciate you taking the time to join me on the pod.
Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to be here. Thanks for asking.
Someone said I sound old when I say the pod. Is that because I've heard other people say that? I heard Mark Norman say it the other day. He refers to it as the pod.
All right, so what's it supposed to be then? If that sounds,
I don't know. The pod is just short for podcast, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You just call it the cast, or is it just the
No,
podcast?
I've never heard anybody refer to it as the cast.
No.
I mean, obviously, I heard people refer to it as the podcast. But
Right. I know pod's fine. I don't think it sounds
Yeah.
old. I don't know if I've heard any
Right.
older people that I know say the pod.
Josh, you joined me on WBBL for 1 week, right?
Yes.
That was weird, wasn't it? Well, it wasn't weird at the time when we were doing it. It was weird, the actual process.
Yeah, the process was a little bit weird.
Because I went into that with, all right, we're going to go and test out new people and try to find a replacement for Julius.
Right.
And that's what I was informed. So Stu came in, Ben had a tryout, Jenny, Hipster Joe, Sam Mills. And then that ended. And then nothing was spoken of again to me or anyone.
Correct.
What a cluster bleep.
It was, we were expecting a little bit more correspondence from the higher-ups, but
I don't even know if
hear
that's
anything.
legal, frankly. If you can apply for a job and then now Ben ended up getting it, and I was very happy with Ben. I think Ben did a hell of a job.
Agreed.
I
Absolutely.
have no problem with Ben. But the way that went down there was just stupid. And I actually felt very bad that people had to deal with that nonsense. Stu tried for that job twice, and they kicked him in the balls, and he got kicked in the balls both times.
Yeah. But he's kind of used to that, I think.
Yeah. Did you see he just adopted a dog? You see a dog he adopted?
I did not see that.
Oh my God, Stuart adopted a dog, and it's an older dog, and I don't know how. I'll have to ask him the particulars, but apparently the owner of the dog bit the dust, and the dog was all bummed out and was there. They found the guy, and then the dog was laying next to him. So saddest story ever, you know.
Yeah.
So who rushes in? Stu. That guy's got a heart of gold.
So did he adopt it from the Humane Society or?
Yeah, he works with a shelter in Muskegon quite a bit. I've heard him plug it before, and I don't know, man. I think he had wanted a dog to keep his current dog that he had company, and then sure enough, man, he takes his dog as old as hell.
Oh my
The dog's
gosh.
and he's taking care of it. There's pictures of his dog with that dog laying together. Everybody's happy.
Could you just imagine though? I mean, obviously it's a dog, but
Right.
Your owner dies, and who knows how long they're dead for, and you're just sitting there with your deceased owner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now what? What do I do?
Right. Two things, and I got to write some thoughts down so I don't forget. I forgot something earlier because we recorded the second pod first, and I forgot something. I want to talk a little bit about your dog. Do you still have that Greyhound?
We do.
Okay.
Wanda, yes.
Hold that thought. When dogs, like that happened with the guy, when I lived in Jenison, there was a moment that happened before we moved there that a lot of people know about in that old neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy died, and he had a bunch of cats, and the cats ate 2/3 of the dude.
Oh my God! How many cats?
Many. He was one of these weirdos that had too many cats, and the house already smelled like a shit pile to begin with. But then the cats ate his face and shit his face out in the house. So the dude's face is in all different piles of shit through the house.
Is that how they were able to identify him? They had to pick through the cat shit to put
Well,
his face
that's the
back
thing.
together?
I don't know. I mean, Jesus Christ. You see a nose in the cat shit, and there's it's
Oh, my
awful.
God.
What they did in the house is they pulled everything out, all walls. It was down to just 2x4s. And then they had to go inside of the house with a chemical to spray on the wood to, because the digested nose shit smell is sucked into the wood.
And cat piss.
Yeah, you can't have that. Can you?
No.
That house would sell for like $100.
They'd sell it just to have it raised and then to put another one up.
And then, holy cow, Josh! I swear to God, somebody moved into that place and nobody would say a word. So they moved in like, hey, how's the digs? I go, I love it. It smells clean. It's so nice. It's like it was a redo. Apparently, the last guy didn't take care of it, so they had to. So, yeah, we know what happened. There's nose shit all over the house. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the cat eating face house. What was that? No, nothing. It's great. It's a beautiful house.
You know
Great.
that if that couple is still there and they ever had kids, that the other kids going, hey, you live in nose shit house. You know that happened.
They say sometimes at night you can still hear the cats feasting on the guy's face.
Okay, now talk about a home that is gotta have ghosts, of the ghost of that dude. Because, I don't know if you believe in ghosts, and a lot of people do believe in ghosts, but if any house is going to be haunted, it's going to be one where a guy, the cats ate his face off and shit his face out into the inside of the house. That guy's going to walk around looking for his face in piles of shit as a ghost. There's no question, right? I mean,
Yes, yeah. It's like he was looking on the floor for something. He was looking through piles of shit for his face. Like, how did they not hear that story before they moved in? Like the realtor's like, oh boy, this is going to be a real deal breaker if I say this.
Right. Well, the thing is, you're supposed to have a disclosure statement and inform the homeowner that, hey, this was a problem.
Right.
But, I mean, you're right. That is a bargaining chip. If the house costs like $150,000 and I know that there was a face eaten off and shit out on the floor,
right.
I'm going to say you got to knock 50 off right there.
Right,
and
right.
Immediately. And then you that's the starting point.
Right. Well, they're like, there's no asbestos, there's no black mold, no radon.
Right.
Anything else you should know about? No. That's the stuff that'll actually kill you.
Yeah, right.
Or not stuff that'll keep you up at night.
I would rather have those things than a ghost of a man looking through cat shit piles for his nose, right?
Yeah. So what happened to the cats? Did Stu adopt those cats after the ate the guy's face?
Of course he did. They're going to eat
good of
his
him.
face next, and everybody's going to applaud.
Then they have to tear all the walls down of that house. Yeah, there used to be an old comedian that lived there. The cats ate his face off.
Yeah. Josh, you had a great joke the other day that I considered telling myself yesterday, and I said, no, I don't think
you could have. It's fine.
I want, and then I was afraid that telling it would have ramifications. But I mean, if I tell it, that's one thing. But if you tell it, it's another. I thought it was a very good joke because you expertly delivered it. So I'll just give you the background, and then you just do what you do.
Okay.
Josh and I are walking around the hockey office the other night, and out of the blue, there was a discussion being had about the Grand Rapids Drive basketball team because I'm hearing some rumors that there is a potential that the team may make a move over to Van Andel Arena, which, side note, pause on the story and Josh's joke, if the Drive go to Van Andel Arena, that is going to put things in an entirely different world and level for them because of how there is such a giant population of people down there looking for fun things to do. And that is an affordably priced product. That would be a winner of a move. So I am hoping, as much as I like the Deltaplex, that goes down.
Right.
But we shall see. So that discussion was being had around the hockey office. And Josh heard that. And then we were walking around, and what did you say again, Josh?
I said, if the Drive move out of the Deltaplex, what are they going to have besides the guinea pig convention? The guinea pig convention and the arm wrestling tournaments.
Right.
But, I mean, they'll still have the goat rodeo, but, I mean, that's only 3 things. What are you going to do without the Drive?
Come on now.
They got to have more income.
Now, you see, I can't contribute to this because... Well, I mean, I can't really fire myself from here, but I don't want this to get back to me. I just wanted to let you know that I did laugh quite a bit on that joke.
Does this mean I can't go to Drive games now?
Probably not.
Okay.
I don't think you'll be announcing any. You can go, but you can't announce.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Someone asked me for a progress report, Josh, on your. You've got many jobs actually that you work. You work for the Griffins. You work for the Whitecaps.
Yep.
You work at the hospital. Right?
Surgery center, yeah.
The surgery center.
Yep.
Do you do what Jackie does? No. Jackie runs the laser and sets up she's a surgical tech.
Oh, okay. No, it's called an ORA, so basically I just help get everything set up, open everything sterilely.
Yeah.
Get everything just set up for the cases and turn over rooms, things like that.
Okay.
She gets to run a laser?
She does, like Jacqueline, part of her job is, like, if there's somebody who's getting a prostate, there's a prostate procedure where the laser obliterates the prostate. On a 6-hour surgery, let's say it's something really big or just minor, her job, when the doc says, Jackie, I need the laser, she pushes a button for 10 seconds, and then that's her job. And then she's got her school books there. She's studying for an exam. That's all she has to do. Just push a button. That's one of the things she does.
That's pretty sufficient.
One of the things you also do is you announce amateur wrestling, don't you?
Yes. It's
Stu wants a progress report on your amateur wrestling career, please.
Well, it's been a couple months since I've done it because the last couple of shows didn't have the best turnout. And it's, of course, held in the metropolis of Coldwater, which is just a couple hours south of here,
Okay.
City of probably, 2,000 people or something like that.
That is a small burg, Coldwater.
They recently added a second gas station, so that's pretty awesome.
Okay.
2 streetlights, gas stations, fast food restaurants. So they're going places.
Nice.
One of the top 1,000 list of places to live in Michigan, so that's not so bad. Anyways,
top 1,000.
The last couple shows, they didn't have a great turnout. So as of right now, they're on hiatus, and I haven't really heard anything.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So how many did you do?
I did, I want to say 8
Really?
shows down there over a 2-year time period, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and I did one show in South Bend.
So you're the ring announcer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Stu wanted a progress report on that. I know you're a massive wrestling fan. You've been a wrestling fan for a long, long time, right?
A long time, yeah. I'm not as massive a fan as like Phil is, who used to work for the Griffins.
Right,
he is like a mark. Like he's always watching wrestling, knows about wrestling. I dabble. I more was a fan back when I was a kid, with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Andre the Giant, all that.
Yeah.
I just can't keep up with it.
I'm shaking my head, and which makes me seem like I'm judging you, and I am.
Yes,
frankly, I don't know why, because sometimes it depends on the mood. There are a lot of times that I'll be like, there's no problem with anybody liking wrestling because it's no different than any drama that's playing out. I mean, it's a poorly acted drama and sometimes a comedy, and it's just happened to have athletics into this performance.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's the way I've chosen to describe it over time, which that itself doesn't sound insulting.
No.
But the passion of a wrestling fan is pretty much unrivaled. Anybody who's into it, they're in it for life.
Yeah, but you say they have no talent or skills, but have you ever seen a 300-pound plus person with 6 championship belts over their shoulders at a wrestling show?
No, I haven't.
Could you do that?
Have 6 belts over my shoulder and walk around?
Yeah. Well, they usually just kind of stand there. Like people walk by and they're kind of like, "Hey,
wait a minute.
Check out my replica belts."
Oh, so you're talking about the fans?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the actual.
No. These are the people that go to the shows, or they'll show up at like Buffalo Wild Wings, like for a pay-per-view with their $300 replica belts.
This was short-sighted on my part. Years ago, I went with a friend of mine to a house show at Van Andel Arena.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be funny to insult the crowd around me, which is really a bad plan because they'll kill you. Mm-hmm. And I had a sign. You know how you hold up your sign?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
My sign said, "Zero hot chicks here." Think about that. I might be standing next to a guy who brought his ugly wife, and he might flip out and punch me in the face.
Yeah.
As it stands, there's some guy, Hardy, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy.
He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't wrestle in the WWE anymore, right?
Him and his brother, Matt and Jeff Hardy, were a tag team, the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
And one still, I can't remember which one still wrestles, one doesn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, everybody loved this guy at the time. And so I knew for a fact that everybody in the arena was a fan of this dude, one of those morons. And so I intentionally wanted to root for the bad guy just to see, all of these Cedar Springs residents flip out at me. And they did. And man, holy crap. I'm sitting there whenever something bad would happen to whatever Hardy Boy this was. I'm like, yes, good move. Win the big match. Win the title. And everybody was getting pissed. We're so mad. My God.
See, you were probably sitting by a lot of the wrestling's not fake people too.
Right.
Like, it's fake. It's not fake. It's not fake. It's real.
Right. Yeah. So then there was a moment I saw one in Kalamazoo Wing Stadium. I took my daughter Jacqueline. She was into it, and we had ringside seats.
Oh, that's the best.
2 things happened that were fun. They were interactions with wrestlers.
Yes.
And there was one wrestler who was coming out, a lady wrestler, who she was heavy set. She wasn't like one of these really in shape ones.
Right.
And I had in front of me, like when you buy a bunch of concessions, they put it in a big
like tray.
Yeah, like a what's that?
It's got
Cardboard.
Cup holders on it and the thing in the middle.
Why am I struggling with cardboard?
It's a cardboard tray.
I'm struggling.
A trough. They give you a trough.
And it's a food. It's got a bun, a meat tube. You put ketchup on it. What's it called? Anyway, I got like 2 hot dogs. I got an ice cream in it and a drink and popcorn. And she's walking by, and I offered it to her. And this fat ass flipped, man. She was so pissed. I thought she's going to flip it out of my hand.
I was going to say, she'd throw it in your face?
She's walking by, and you can't see this on the audio version of this, but then I'm like, my hand is a bowl, and I'm like I'm acting like I'm holding a spoon to her as she's walking by later on. It was great. It was great mocking. Then the wrestler at the time, I don't know if he's still active. I think he's doing MMA. CM Punk.
Yeah, he's doing MMA now,
Okay.
here and there. He's done 2 fights.
There's a moment when he gets knocked out of the ring, and he's like in air quotes recovering.
Yes.
And so he's right next to me, and he's so close that if I'm talking like this, he can hear me. And so I know he's going to be down there for some time, and he's right there.
Right.
And so we interacted, and he responded hilariously to this. He's facing the floor, acting like he's hurt. And I go, Punk, what are you doing? And that's all I said. And he looked up at me and laughed. And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world because he interacted with me. He broke character. He broke it for a second with eye contact and a little wry grin. And instantly, I had a great time. That was so much fun.
You should tweet at him or see. He probably remembers that because how many people have said, "What are you doing,
Punk? What are you doing?"
Because people are like, "Oh my gosh, get up, Punk! Get back in there! Come on!"
So here I am talking about fun things that have happened at wrestling, and then in the other side of my mouth, I'm talking about judging you for it. Clearly, I'm a fan, right? It seems like I like this.
So. Yeah, even if you're not willing to admit it.
I want to point out that I started a new bit today. It seems like these things happen to me. They just kind of pop into my brain, usually involving some type of video. I posted this for everybody to see. It was a freebie of something that I'm doing for the Tier 2 folks on Patreon. And what it is when I'm driving around in the car, I roll video, and it's down at the where the stick shift is, and I'm listening to the radio shows on the air.
In the morning.
Yeah, and giving air checks. You know what an air check is.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the asshole program director sits in front of you and acts like he or she knows what the fuck they're talking about,
right? Which
they don't.
No.
So there you go. That's my first bad word on this one. That's 20. No. I said a lot of shits earlier.
Yeah,
right,
but
that's my first F-bomb.
Nice.
Sorry.
How many minutes in?
I'm trying to take it easy on this. Anyway, all program directors suck, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They wouldn't know anything funny if it hit them in the face.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm air checking these people as only I can. And I shot video today. I went around the dial. I got LAV. They're playing music. I got Andy Brown. He's playing music. Lots of Jesus stations. Actually, I had Free Burnout Wings on.
Yeah.
I pretended like I was interacting with them on the bit, which made me very, very sad. So I got off of that. JoJo was playing Casey and the Sunshine Band. That was great. And then I did a critique of a radio station known as The Brew, which has done nothing but suck big wet balls since I signed it on. Anyway, That is a new thing on Patreon, Tier 2. I gave it to you free today. I linked it up on Facebook. I put it out on Twitter so you can have a look at it. That's going to be a regular thing. I'm not going to go over the top and be a complete asshole about it, but I will tell you that if I hear something like, that's stupid, you shouldn't have done that, or whatever, or just it might just be fun. Now, I'm going to do that until the cease and desist hits my mailbox. So that's probably how that's going to go.
So what's the countdown at?
Of what are you talking about?
Well, because you got your like, well, you said cease and desist, but you got your non-compete and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Cease and desist would be you can't publish anything on our airwaves.
Oh,
for that.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know. Just promoting your damn radio station.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna like to hear Joe Walsh. Whatever.
Nobody wants to hear the brew, though. Obviously.
Oh boy, that station's a stinker. They need to fix that fast. In less than 6 months, if they bang on my door, I can help them. Let's see. Okay, timeout on the field. More in just a bit. Let's not bounce ahead 15 seconds, okay? Because in my opinion, what I'm talking about this exact second is better than playing the old shit on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Okay, you know what I mean? Anyway, maybe not. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I talk about in these bits. I just like, all right, it sounds like something good for them to listen to. I hope it keeps them happy. Join me on Cameo. Hire me at cameo.com/Eric Zane. It's a lot of fun. $15, $16, something like that. And I'm the best at it. Nobody does a Cameo like me, and I haven't done one in ages. Somebody got a birthday. Somebody celebrated an anniversary. Somebody needs some recognition. Someone needs their balls busted. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. Blue Frost IT, the managed the managed IT service provider for this podcast. If your business needs to upgrade the tech, okay, the equipment's old, antiquated, it's outlived its lifespan, way too mature, get it out of there. Sit down for a 30-minute complimentary consultation with Blue Frost IT. That conversation will lead you to what you need to do to upgrade based on the needs of your business. Recommendations will be made. You will make purchases. And then the tech will be set up by Blue Frost IT. You don't do anything. You pay for your gear and stuff like that, but Blue Frost IT takes care of all the time-consuming setup. Maybe you have to have the office retrofitted with different wall jacks or new construction. And you call on Blue Frost IT. They set up your entire infrastructure so that your network runs smoothly. Oh, my God. Project work with Blue Frost IT, the absolute best. And then when they're all done, they become your managed IT service provider. Blue Frost IT. Call them at 616-200-8550. Help your business with Blue Frost IT. Meanwhile, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage wants to help you get into a mortgage. Now, for some of you, this is an easy process, okay? Others, maybe there's a bankruptcy. Maybe there's a divorce. Maybe it's your first time doing this. You remember back to when you got your first mortgage for you veterans? You're like, oh, my God, it was so stressful. You didn't know what the fuck anybody was talking about. And then you're like, oh, all right, sounds good. Well, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage really works hard for everybody in the exact same way. Not all mortgage people are created equal. You know, some guys, they'd much rather be spending their time coming up with a mortgage for someone who wants to buy a $3 million home as opposed to, you know, Joe Sixpack, who is getting his mortgage for the first time. Wants to buy a starter home or first home. Just starting his family. Come on, young gal, young guy. Give him a break. Mario works equally hard for anyone. 231-332-6505. Call him, drop my name, and off you go with 5-star, gold star, star on the forward, red star, black star, white star service. from the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. NMLS number 3035. All right, back at it. Part 2 of Go Josh Go on Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Oh, yeah. I just got a message and I got distracted. I apologize. What else did I want to talk about? T-shirts, we're getting new designs in with a... You ever seen the show Making a Murderer?
No.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, but I've never seen it.
The logo of that has the the main guy, Stephen Avery. His face is cut diagonally. One half of the diagonal cut is him as a kid. The other half is him as an adult incarcerated in the penal system. The Making a Podcaster shirt is going to be available at ericzaneshow.com with that same motif. And it looks sweet. You're going to love that shirt. If you're a fan of the show and a fan of this show, that might be something you want to check out.
Nice. Do you have any idea when it's going to be available?
I told Jericho about it today, or yesterday, actually. He said he'd get it done today, but so I'll have to double check. If not today, then tomorrow for sure.
Awesome. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. Again, we are from the Back Alley Comedy Club studio at ShermanBowlingCenter.com for all of the shows coming up there. We got shows Friday and Saturday, including Darren McCarty on Saturday at Back Alley Comedy. That's right. Darren McCarty is doing stand-up. Now, I addressed this in the extra pod for the Patreon, Tier 1 and Tier 2 folks at length. So I don't want to beat it to death, but it's important to note that there is a great possibility that Darren McCarty is going to be sitting where Josh is sitting on Friday. Which, if you're
awesome.
If you're Darren, thinking, what the hell am I doing? I'm walking into a guy's house to record a podcast in a podcast room where there's a giant stuffed teddy bear that you can't see right now and One Direction quotes on the wall. Well, Darren doing stand-up is really great, and I am excited for him. And there is a high probability that Darren will be here on the pod, video and audio. So that is something to look forward to.
Awesome. I don't know if you research him enough or follow him enough, but is he still in that band? Do you remember? It was Grindr.
Yeah, he was on Grindr, and he had a lot of success in Grindr.
Yeah. But
I heard him on the Spittin' Chicklets podcast, which is one that I just recently discovered because of Phil from former Griffin's guy who was my boss. What was his title? Ops?
Director of Game Operations.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Darren was on there talking about, he goes, yeah, I like this. I like this better. It's a little less maintenance, but Darren is writing and doing stand-up comedy of all people. He's one of my all-time favorite Red Wings.
Oh, absolutely.
Darren McCarty. He's right up there.
Grand Rapids loves him too, especially when he came back. Remember for a while?
Oh yeah, the hat trick. The hat trick. I talked on the extra pod about the hat trick in Grand Rapids. My God, that was huge. That place was so loud. I've never heard that place so loud in all my life. Only time I heard it loud is when they won the cup at home, which you were at, weren't you? You were there for that,
One
weren't
of the best nights ever. Oh, yeah.
Jesus,
sure.
man. That was incredible. I'll never forget Svechnikov leaving the bench 5 seconds before the actual horn sounded. Could have very easily have given a power play.
Yep.
Jesus.
5 seconds. Yeah, 'cause even if you watch the video back, it's like they're all just sitting there still playing. He's like halfway from the bench to the goal, and it's like, what are you doing?
Oh, my God. He skated right by the linesman who could have called a penalty.
He could have, yeah.
Lots of one penalty they can call is too many men on the ice.
Yep.
Josh, I talked about your dog. What's Olive? What is it? Snow White? Blondie.
Blondie, yeah.
Olive, Snow White.
Olive, Snow White, close enough. Now,
Josh, we talked about this story in WBBL when you filled in that one time.
Yeah.
But how long did you have the dog before the runaway incident happened?
2.5 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
2.5 days in, you've got this dog you adopted. Mm-hmm. A breed that is the fastest canine on the planet.
Yeah, she just retired from racing professionally. So, like less than 3 months after retiring.
Okay.
Racing, yeah.
So, those dogs top speed about 30?
45.
45, not even close. I thought 30 was high.
Yeah.
So, for a short distance, those dogs can run 45 miles an hour.
Yep.
Were you told ahead of time that the dog will bolt if you open the door?
Yes. Yes, we were. Which is why we told the kids who were, this is 3 or 4 years ago. Gotta watch the door, close the door. If you're coming in, close the garage door, and then come in. But that lasted for, like I said, 2 days. And then
Okay, were you in the home when it happened or out of the home?
I was home.
When Blondie bolted.
I was home because you were gone from the Griffin, so I was doing PA that night. So I was just kind of resting on the couch, no shoes on, just a T-shirt and jeans, and all of a sudden I hear the door open once, open again, and then, Blondie, no! And then I was like, oh, shit. And, yeah, she was out the door in front of the garage.
Did she just walk out and stand there, or did she run and hit the ground running and did not look back at you like she was chasing that mechanical rabbit?
She stopped at the end of the driveway, looked at me like, oh my God, I'm outside, and you're there, and I'm a lot faster than you. So then I kind of walked towards her slow, come on. And she, as soon as I got within like 5 feet, she would bolt. And she would just kind of hit like another gear and just start running.
Oh, my God. How did it that the people who gave up the dog allow it to do this? I mean, allow you to have it without it not being like, ready for prime time here.
Like having its feet tied up or its legs tied
Yeah,
up.
you should have had the dog's legs amputated before you got the dog.
Like they cut its hamstrings before they give it to you.
I mean, seriously, because the dog probably with no legs could probably still run faster than all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they just
all right.
That's the biggest caution. Don't leave the door open. Don't. Make sure you know where the dog is when you open the door because they see an opening and they just go right through it.
Okay, so she's gone.
Yeah, I could kind of see her, but she was okay. There was no way I was going to catch her.
Take us through the process of getting her back, because to me, I wouldn't have even bothered because the dog would have just kept running.
Well, I didn't grab my shoes or anything because I didn't want to lose sight of her because I knew if I lost sight of her, she would be gone.
Okay.
Like
and it was a cold period of time.
Yeah, it was March, April, so it wasn't warm.
All right.
Yep. So I'm running, and she, like I said, she's bolting. She's going between houses, and then she finally went down the street that we lived on, which is 45, and she's going. Mm-hmm. I think she was intentionally waiting till the car was like 10 feet away, and then rushing in front of it across the street.
Okay.
At one point, she was going right down the center lane as cars were going by.
Is this Baldwin?
No, this is Rosewood.
Did you already say that?
No, I just said it was 45. I didn't say what street it was, but yeah. So
Okay.
45, and she's doing that, and at this point, we have 3 or 4 people that are like, can we help you? And we can see her. We'll keep up. There's a guy in a bike. Yeah. There's a guy in a car.
Oh. Meanwhile, you're getting exhausted.
Yeah, and I still don't have any shoes or socks on.
Oh, Jesus.
And then, running on pavement mostly. And then she goes back into the other neighborhood. And then finally, the crossing guard, who's usually right by her house because we were around the corner. Yeah. She shows up with my son. He's like, here, we brought your shoes. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oh, man.
And so, that's when she got down into the industrial park maze, and we totally lost sight of her.
So this is significant time has passed.
Almost an hour, yeah.
Okay. How did it go that you got the dog back?
I went back home after the crossing guard dropped me off. I picked up my daughter, and we're driving. By this time, we called Allies for Greyhounds, which is an awesome organization. They foster and they
Except
adopt
they don't,
out
they
a
don't
lot of
cut
dogs.
the legs off.
They do not.
They don't do that?
No, I guess it's not humane.
All right. Well, they've got to work the bugs out.
Right. Yeah. There's got to be a way, some kind of like shock tether.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, clearly, these dogs were not meant to be in homes.
No. Well,
I take it back. I shouldn't say that.
Until they get used to being in homes and not having to chase after rabbits.
Serious, man. I would.
But so I got home, picked up my daughter.
By the way, they look weird.
They do look weird, but they're so slim. They're like athletes.
I don't know.
My dog has biceps. She has bigger biceps than me.
Right. I don't want a dog.
If dogs have biceps, I don't know.
No, I don't know what it is either. But I don't want a dog that can kick my ass.
She probably could if she given the chance. But so anyways, we get back and we had called them. They were bringing greyhounds because apparently when greyhounds get loose, they'll go to other greyhounds. They're familiar with them, so they'll actually go to them instead of running away from me, who's actually trying to help out.
They're like drawn to other greyhounds? Yeah. So in order to get it back, you have to bring a greyhound into the neighborhood and walk it around?
It works. I guess that's what they said, but we had to find her first. So there's people coming in, trucking in their greyhounds, and people looking, blah, blah, blah.
All of a sudden, there's greyhounds showing up all over the neighborhood now, these weirdo dogs?
Like out of the shadows, there's all 15 muscular dogs going down the street. I
would hate to live in that part of town.
They actually didn't have a chance to show up because we were driving and all right, we went down Chicago Drive, so that's 55 miles per hour, 4 lanes with the median, and I just happened to catch her out of the corner of my eye, bolt by. I'm like, holy! Yeah. I mean, this is like hour and a half in. Like, shit, that's her.
Okay,
so we pull in, and it's like a self-storage place, and there's like big open green area, and then this giant water. It's not a pond. It's just this like really long stretch of water that's about 50 yards wide by 200 yards long.
Okay.
And she's walking right towards him. Like, I parked the car. I'm like, Elena, just.
Well, at this
got
point,
snacks.
were you hoping she'd just go in and go under? Because I know
She
I
almost
would've been.
did. I'm
Okay.
like, why is she going towards? Like, this dog has never seen water. All
Right.
she knows is running in a track and kennels
Yeah,
in our house
and bunnies
And bunnies,
and
yes,
abuse
mechanic, yes.
and bedding.
and sleeping in a very small crate.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
all that stuff.
Yeah, good life, good life.
Exactly. So I don't know if she thought it was like a mirage but she just kept walking towards it. So
Okay.
we get out, I have treats and like just be nice and easy. I'm like, Blondie, come on. And then she just didn't even look back. She just walked right into the water. I'm
She
like,
did. She's in the water now.
She's in the water, chest deep. I'm like, what? And so she's walking, and greyhounds are really good runners, but they don't swim.
Okay.
So-
All right. So this is good news then.
Yeah. So she hit the drop off in the water.
Yeah. Oh, she did.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Like maybe 15 feet out, and she's just bobbing.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, she actually is in danger.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So like,
shit.
when dogs do the doggy paddle, they can actually like move around a little bit
Yeah.
and go. She was just like spinning in a circle with her paws.
Well, yeah, her paws are only like 1 inch around because
Right.
they barely touch the ground.
Exactly.
The dog flies. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the
And-
dog is in trouble.
Yeah, so she's starting to bob in like underwater, like her head's going under a little bit. So I took my phone out of my pocket and I just dove in with all my clothes on, head first, and I'm swimming out there. I'm looking up and she's still paddling. I get closer and she kind of turns around and is like, "Holy shit, there
now
he is!"
she's
like,
scared.
yeah,
Oh,
she's
now
like,
she wants you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
so she kind of
sure.
looks at me. So then I grabbed her collar.
Oh, my
and
God.
I pulled her back in. And
This is a miracle, the fact that you saw this. You were
Yeah.
right there. Talk about Johnny on the spot.
yeah, because if we had gotten there a couple minutes early, she would have been a floater. Like, oh, there she is.
Oh, can you imagine if you're driving around with your kids and you see the dog floating on the water? Oh, my God. It would have ruined
my
those
God.
kids. They would have become school shooters.
Or see her like slung over my shoulder, bringing her
Oh,
back to
yeah.
the car, lifeless,
Oh,
limp.
shit, man.
yeah.
Thank God you did that. I was kidding. I was just saying jokes, but I mean, thank God you caught that.
Yeah.
Man, were you lucky.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Or because past the water, it was Chicago Drive, so I know
Oh,
she's
yeah.
fast, but 55 miles per hour at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with
Yeah,
people flying.
sure.
No, she wouldn't have made
and
it.
there's a train there. She could have
Yep.
gotten greased by the train.
Exactly.
So many things could have happened terribly here.
Yeah, she couldn't have picked a more dangerous place to run away.
You still had to go do the game that night,
I
right?
did.
What time did you finally get home? Right when you had to leave?
Basically, yeah.
You had to go to the rink right after that.
I got home enough time to rinse. Just rinse, not even like take a shower, just rinse from whatever syphilis or whatever was in that water that I dove in to get
full
her.
of AIDS.
Yeah, my eyes
Full
burned
of
for a
AIDS.
day. So then, quick change. Got to the arena and Phil's like, "Oh, you're late." I'm like, "Yeah, I
It's
can't
like,
explain
shut up,
it."
Phil.
So then I get in the
I had to
booth.
chase a greyhound dog today.
She's
Don't
like,
bitch at me. I was swimming in a shit pond chasing the world's ugliest dog.
she's like Usain Bolt, the Usain Bolt of greyhounds.
God.
So I'm sitting there. There's the camera in the booth, in the PA booth, and I'm just sitting there, just exhausted, like hunched over, and Phil's like, "Hey, you look like a drowned turd." I'm like,
oh my God.
funny you should mention drowned anything, and I proceeded to tell him the story. He's like, "Oh my gosh!" He's like, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "No." He's like, "That's crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're telling me." It was a very exhausting day.
So that's 2.5 years ago. Are you telling me that has not happened since?
Nope. She's gotten out again, but she hasn't run away.
But
Did I not tell you this?
No.
So we
I
moved.
bet you when she got out, you're like,
Yeah.
oh no.
My sphincter just tightened right up.
It's like, God, no.
Yep.
God, no.
Yeah. I almost just like laid down on the ground and said, "This is it. This
Okay,
is it."
take me through it. Blondie, your greyhound,
Yep.
gets out again.
Yes. So
after this earlier incident, take me through how you saved it this time.
well, it was less drama, but she got out again. So like we moved into a new house. We did not have a fence yet, so we had to bring the dogs out on their leashes.
Yeah.
So we're going back into the house. I have the door open a bit. I take her leash off, and she just spins right around and goes behind me out the door.
Oh,
Like, here we go again. That's what I said.
no.
And so I go out there. She kind of looks at me because that same look, kind of like, down on her haunches, like looking
Right,
at me, like,
right.
"Come on, let's go. Let's do this." I'm like, "I'm not doing this." And she runs around the front of the house. So I chase after her, and I see there's our neighbor getting his mail, and I'm like, "Have you seen our dog? Have you seen our dog?" And he just kind of looks up and I'm like, "Whatever." So I'm like, because this is out in Caledonia, so
Right,
it's
right.
not streets, lots of streets and side streets
Yeah,
and
it's
houses.
a
It's
good
just
thing
wide
you're not.
open area.
It's a good thing you're not black. They just shot you in the face.
And she's not either, so she was safe. So I got her. I run around the house and I can't see her. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to check inside just to see if maybe she went back in. I open the door and she comes around the corner and scared the shit out of me because I know she was in there. I'm like, oh, and I, slammed the door. I'm like, thank God she just went back.
Man.
So like, it's like she was fucking with me.
Oh shit, man. Yeah, that's rough.
She's like, oh, I'm just kidding. I was going to run away. I just thought, make you stress out a lot more.
I had a bad deal with Bruce because he's the same way, man. And you haven't met Bruce yet.
I have not.
But he's a runner, and he took off at night. I told the story on the air, so nobody heard it.
He's the French bulldog, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And he got loose at night. And while I'm chasing, so I'm running, and you can always hear Bruce. He always has this going on. So as I'm running, I hear 25 feet away, So I'm getting closer, and then it's getting louder, and then as he gets farther away, it's like. So I'm like, okay, but I cannot see the dog
because he's like what, like dark brown or something, isn't he?
Yeah, gray, brown, and but it's pitch black.
Sure.
And I've got the little small cell phone light. It only goes so far. I have no shoes on, like you.
Yep.
And he goes. He's just and then all of a sudden I can't hear him.
Uh-oh.
So I'm running around now. I'm panicked
because
I have no reference as to where he is. While I'm running, I text my neighbor, Etta, who is all the time on the neighborhood Facebook page.
Etta. And, how old is Etta? Because that sounds like a really old person's name.
She has a very old name, but she's very young, actually.
Wow. Okay.
And,
I'm sorry. Continue.
And no, that's all right. And so while I'm running, I'm doing voice to text. And I've talked to Siri, and then I hope Siri doesn't go off. Sorry. And then I say, please. And I am able to do it just with voice about what I want her to post. She's got a picture of Bruce. She just happens to have one. So while I'm running around for him in the minutes leading up to it, all the neighbors, I'm seeing lights go on in the neighborhood as I'm running around. Like legit.
Right.
And I go home and I scream to Madison, we got to go find Bruce. So she gets in her car. I get in my car. I'm racing around the neighborhood like a madman, seen by my neighbors, who then can confirm this story that I was like, as fast as my car would go, I'm screaming like a madman. So it was terrible, so unbelievably embarrassing. And then Madison texts me. She goes, I got O'Neill. And I'm like, O'Neill? Well, I didn't know he got out. What the hell are you talking about?
Where are all your animals? Are all out.
Yeah, apparently O'Neill was like, oh, it's time to go for a walk. I didn't let him in the house, and he wandered over into the next neighborhood. And she saw him, and he just politely walks up to her and gets in the car. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Didn't know he was lost, but all right. I parked the car. This is 15 minutes later. I go, what if he went home?
Yep.
Sure enough, I'm in the backyard. I'm getting closer to the back deck area on this exact house, and I hear way in the distance as I approach that area. And then there he is, just looking at me, wanting to go inside. I'm like, oh, Bruce, holy shit. And so now he cannot go out into the backyard to take a dump unless he is on a leash. It is, I talk about a panic-filled moment. Holy crap.
So where would he have gone?
Yeah, who knows? I don't even know where. To this day, I don't even know what happened. He might have just gone back and waited there the whole time while I was driving around the neighborhood.
Like he held his breath so you wouldn't know where he was.
Oh, my God. Yeah, who knows?
Good job, Bruce.
Okay. I saw this story, and I wanted to throw this out there. It was at a Walmart. Something like this is going to happen. It seems like, first of all, if you go to Walmart, I always thought that was, I never really paid attention to it until I went to Walmart on a regular basis, but it is a true thing. If you go in there, you see, like
Weirdos.
there's websites about Walmart.
Yeah, people of Walmart, yeah.
And why? It's a discount store. What is the big? There are lots of discount stores. To me, I don't get the attraction of all these the usual mutant brand of people that show up there. But it seems like more often than not, the mutants tend to act out at a Walmart. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Story I just read over the weekend that there was some lady who got her fat ass on one of those carts that you see that typically is described as scooter fat. It's not necessarily that they have like a missing leg or something like that. They just can't move because they're gigantic.
Yes.
Well, this idiot is driving through the parking lot, drinking wine out of a Pringles can.
On the scooter?
On the scooter. Now, if that doesn't scream Walmart, I don't know what does. And as it goes, the cops showed up. She was not arrested. She was found near there. They said, take the scooter back, stupid. They're probably used to it there.
Did they let her finish her Pringles wine?
Well, that's a thing. And I'm like, first of all, where is she? Where's the main source of the wine from? What are we doing here? Did she... I don't get the logistics of the whole thing. You go in to get the cart, but you still have to have the wine to go into the Pringles can, or did she walk up to the cart with already the Pringles can full of wine?
Well, that's easy.
These are mysterious things, Josh.
She took the foil off the top, just totally like shotgun the entire thing of Pringles in like one bite.
Yeah.
Went inside, found a Franzia box of wine, opened that puppy up, and just filled it up.
All right, maybe. Maybe it was as simple as that.
Might have been.
They banned her from the store and said you can never, the cops informed her. They said you can't, you actually can't go into the store anymore. And I thought to myself, now, of all the things Walmart, that is like the most Walmart thing. Would you really want to ban someone from Walmart? I would say that you would encourage that. Because that allows you, well, first of all, you're in the news.
Yep.
Hey, if I run Walmart, I'm going to put actors to do shit like this.
Right.
Just so that you don't even need an ad budget at this point in time because of all the weirdness that goes on at those places. You don't have to advertise anything because it's like you can get a new Instapot and see something amazing.
So you might see somebody taking a dump in an Instapot at Walmart.
Anything goes. I just like walking through that frickin' store. I just like watching and just people watching. I mean, it's and I'm not just saying it to be like an elitist asshole or something like that. But holy crap, there are some, god dang, the things you see. The fact that at our Walmart in Granville was the place where on Black Friday, remember that years ago, that lady went in and she face planted and her hair fell off.
They still show that. Like if you watch any news station leading up to Black Friday, they show that clip every year.
One of the best things ever.
Wait, that's where you live? That happened there? Yeah. Yeah. And then you got the lady on her cart with her Pringles wine.
Jeez. Josh, I want to thank you for being here, man.
I want to thank you for having me. It's great.
It makes the meter move when I have people in here and stuff to talk about. A lot of people have wondered, whatever happened to Josh? I figured it'd be a good thing to get you in here.
Here I am.
So, all right, as we continue to build the show, ericzaneshow.com for all stuff show-related. The free podcast is there for you to listen as much as you want. If you want more material, patreon.com/ericzane, or you can get to it right on the website and sign up. $5 a month, you get an extra pod. So you get this one, that's fine, but you got an extra one every single day for just $5 a month. And that helps us be able to build this podcast, equipment upgrades, personnel, the whole deal. And we can stay focused on this and continue to build this thing. For $10 a month, you get the video aspect too. And my God, we got a lot of fun things planned for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to live stream the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I'm going to publish it for the Tier 2 people only. So you'll be able to see the Super Bowl and then all of the commentary, not typed, like Mystery Science Theater commentary. If you want to come over, you can watch it with me.
That would be a lot of fun.
We get a room full of people to obliterate the Super Bowl. If you're going to watch the Super Bowl, you want to watch it on the Tier 2 Patreon as a patron member. Screw watching it on your TV. Just mirror it from your phone or your laptop right to your TV. That's how you got to watch the Super Bowl. And if you miss it, it's there forever as a Tier 2 member. That's what you do. That's all at ericzaneshow.com. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Glad
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Keep on supporting Eric.
Go, Josh, go. Go, Josh, go.
I'm going. I'm still going.
Okay, it's time to cut through the clutter with all of the information about online betting. MyBookie. That's all you need to know. MyBookie. New year, new you. When I say new you, I mean because you're going to MyBookie. Give yourself a fresh start with MyBookie. Whether you bet to earn, which some people do because they're good at it, or just to have some fun, MyBookie gives you the most for your money with their redesigned deposit bonus. Just use promo code ZANE on a deposit of $50 or more to receive a cash bonus instantly to your MyBookie account. Try it out. MyBookie. Promo code ZANE. Using this bonus is simple. Bet your deposit amount just once and you're ready to cash out. It's no strings attached with MyBookie. Promo code ZANE. Bet on the NFL, UFC, play for a share of big cash prizes in the weekly online blackjack tournaments. You name it, MyBookie has you covered. With so many brands to choose from, you need a platform that makes it simple to bet and win. Like MyBookie. Promo code ZANE. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.
Okay, not the best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Time out on the field. We've got more. I've got a segment with my son that I posted years ago that I want you to check out. You might remember it. You might not. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just happy that you're here listening to this. Now, look, as you know, the free podcast happens because of my sponsors, which don't you dare bounce forward. Okay? Don't do that. Please. You know, I need you. It's when the message meets the need. That's why I do this. Anyway, if you have a business and you want to market yourself on the Eric Zane Show podcast, all it takes is for you to reach out. Say hello to me, either email eric@ericzaneshow.com, or I don't give a shit if you just scream my name out and hand me a business card. I will then begin the process of telling you how it works. The short story is underprice it, over-deliver on it. That's what I do. Let me tell you all about it. eric@ericzaneshow.com. You notice that when I get sponsors, they stick with me for a long time. Not all of them. I mean, there's a few that are like, it worked, but we're out of money. Or, hey, I'm out of business. Or it just didn't work. There was actually one sponsor that's like, no one's calling. And I'm like, I think you should cancel. God rest Jason Mays and the folks at JM Synthetics. That was the one, a poor guy. He gave me a bunch of money to run the damn ads, and then I think we sold like 1 quart of oil. Anyway, everybody else seems to be super happy. A&E, Heating and Cooling. How about these guys? Legendary. 616-516-8579. Joe Martinez started his business with just a beat-up van when he called upon me. Next thing you know, the business is taking off because he's marketing himself on this show. Everybody needs their furnace tuned. It's unacceptable if you don't, once a year, have that thing looked at. $79 on the furnace tune-up. 616-516-8579. Mention my name. If you do get a new furnace installed, he'll install the best, the Comfort Maker brand of furnace or air conditioner. Call up 616-516-8579. Batting last in the lineup today, Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. 616-532-6600. Very important to note that their Google reviews are by people who do not have a podcast and are not paid to say nice things about them. You can see all those at irvines.com, ervines.com. All right? And then when you do say, you know what? I think I'm going to take Zane up on that and have these pros fix my cars. You got early bird drop-off. You got late bird pickup. If you want, they've got free loaner cars so that no one has to cart your ass around. Let's say your car breaks down on the side of the road. What do I do? Where do I take it? When the wrecker, just go take it to Irvine's. They're going to go, oh, okay. They know. Just do that. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV. Here you go. The final segment of this edition of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. It features me and my son, Jim. Again, this is like 2 weeks into podcasting. Nearly 4 years ago that this all took place. Hope you enjoy it right here. Okay, now my only advice to you, Jim, is when they say smart-ass things, don't read them. Because it'll rattle my brain. Or it'll rattle your brain.
Can't you just get rid of it?
Yeah, you probably could.
Well, I think that comment box is the way to eliminate that.
Okay. By the way, you see where I'm at the mic? That's where you need to be.
Up in your face?
Yeah, where it's like right there. I'm super comfortable with it because I'm used to it. But you're probably not used to it. It feels weird, doesn't it?
I like this styrofoam on my face.
No, I don't know. Hold on. Well, I want to turn off the comments then because that's a huge distraction.
None. And that was hard. I can't believe you didn't figure that out before.
I know. I was watching a video, Jim. I forgot who sent it along, but somebody said, hey, this has a bunch of podcast tips and stuff like that successful podcasters use. And so this is hot on the heels of 12 hours earlier when I was interviewing that guy that helped Jackie get windshield solvent into her car.
This is a story I haven't heard before.
Okay. You haven't heard that story about what happened to Jackie?
No.
Your sister had no idea how to put the solvent into the car.
Uh-huh.
And so she's FaceTiming me from Speedway in the ghetto.
Ooh.
And she's walking around the store, and I had to make her go out of the store because it's outside of the store. There's big, huge pallets of it. She gets it. She can't open the hood. She doesn't know how to open the hood. And then some cowboy helps her. She goes, there's some guy in a cowboy hat. He's going to help me. Well, turns out the guy is he's into rodeo.
Oh, no.
He's a veteran. And while doing the FaceTime, he said, oh, yeah, I know who Eric is. First he said, I don't know who that is. Then he thought about it. He goes, oh, no, it's a radio guy, isn't it? And then so I put him on the air or on the podcast. And while talking to him, it was on the Facebook one. It was on the free one. Mm-hmm. People are writing comments like, this guy sucks. Hang up on him. Move on. Boring. And, immediately I start having a total anxiety attack I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to lose all the patrons right now just because of this interview. And so that created what's known as the Eric Zane Show Asshole Brigade because I was so pissed off. So then I said that from this day forward, I have to keep the comments off. But then on the tips and on the podcasting tips video that somebody sent me, it's some nerd describing very basic stuff that I actually felt good because I was like, oh yeah, I already do that. That's common knowledge. Who doesn't do that? And one of the things it says is no matter what happens, shut your phone down, put it on Do Not Disturb, turn all the comments off. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, Dad.
I was talking with your grandpa. He's pissed off because I swear on it. What's that like in your world when you hear me swear? Because when I was a kid and I heard my dad swear, I hated that. What is that? How does that work for you? But you've heard it even when I would yell at you when I was pissed off at you.
Oh, I mean, obviously when you're mad and you swear, that's not an enjoyable thing. But in the context of what you're saying, I think I heard you talking about this on the free one.
Oh yeah, you were watching on the Facebook.
Yeah, I was watching, and
okay.
If you get a good swear in, at the right time, it can add so much hilarity to any circumstance. Even if you're not expecting, you hear a good solid F-bomb, it just really.
Well, that's what I tried to explain to Grandpa, but his response was, "You are starting to attract low-life scum," and you. The fact that he keeps using, you're not a low-life. Why do you have to be low-life? I'm like, come on, Dad. But there's no talking him out of it, no matter what I say. Hey, Anthony in New York sent me this beautiful Refurb HP, and it's freaking awesome. and it has made our lives easier. Thank you to you. Anthony, you know what I should do? Because I do know this. Anthony runs a tech company, a computer company, and this is, I think, only right to, talk about his business.
Fair enough, yeah.
He's in Albany, New York. It's known as Hardwired PC, repair and restoration in Ballston Spa. I hope I'm saying that right, New York. Thank you, Anthony. You can. He's the owner and operator of that business. Anthony Prusky is what it is. Thank you so much for helping us out, Jim. There was an army of people working on this studio. It was crazy. Was that not great? It was like I felt like this was a Habitat for Humanity house.
It was definitely great. It was something I wasn't expecting it to that extent.
Because you were gone, weren't you? You had taken off. You went to go get your kids the flu, right?
Yep, we went to Playworld.
Playworld is one of those places where the kids go to get sick?
Yep.
Isn't that right? Every time they come home, everybody has the flu?
It's definitely filled. There was actually dust on the slides on the outside, and someone wrote "clean me" on it. With
really?
Yeah, so someone was definitely walking around with disease on their finger.
So, all right. So is that a thing where parents go just to like build up the immunity of the kids? Because that's what we did. We would just throw you in the ball pit, and then you wouldn't get sick for like 5 years.
Those are actually there, but I know that they don't have them at McDonald's anymore.
Yeah, did you ever hear that someone found a turd? Needles?
Oh, yeah.
Is that an urban legend? People put needles in there?
I bet you could find a story about that.
I remember a story that some kid came up and was actually like squishing a turd between his fingers. You never heard that one?
Like Play-Doh?
Yeah, I mean, like he at the bottom of the ball pit, and like in like one of the corners, they actually come up with the shit, and it's just. Is that what you're talking about? When you come to the swear words? That's what makes you laugh.
If you said turd there, that would.
It's gotta be. A kid comes up with the shit.
But in a conversation like that, it's so fluid. You just.
Okay, all right. What was the maddest I ever was when you were growing up? And what? Okay, two things. True or false? When I would get angry, you would laugh.
Yes, and the one that I like to answer with the first thing that comes to mind with those kind of questions.
Mm-hmm.
For that specifically, is we were reading Harry Potter. We would read it every night.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, I'm like, okay, he's going upstairs saying goodnight to everybody else. I'm going to give him a good scare. So I grabbed that spray bottle of water.
Okay.
And I hid it underneath the foyer. Not underneath the foyer, above the foyer. So he would go down the steps.
Okay, yeah.
And you would think I would be in the room, but I would actually be on the floor that you just came from.
Okay.
So you would walk into the room, see that I'm not there, and come out and look for me.
Right. You had planned this all out.
Yes. So
okay.
I saw you walk down. I'm not far behind you. You look in the room. You go, oh, he's not in here. I wonder where he is. I'm going to go look for him. So you come out.
Okay.
You come to the steps. I jump to the top of the steps, squirt you with the water, and yell.
Just having fun, right?
Yes.
Of course. I took it poorly, didn't I?
You threw the book. And you said, if you don't stop laughing, I'm not going to read with you anymore.
Oh, what an asshole. And then your heart's probably broken. You're upset. When I hear those, it makes me so sad because I probably wrecked what could have been a great moment. I remember one time you played a prank on me where, like if you're at a kitchen sink and you have like the on off and the faucet, and then there's that thing that you like spray the dishes with, the sprayer. Mm-hmm. Jim was probably 11, and he decided as a prank he would put rubber bands around that so it's engaged, so that when you turn on the water to like get a drink of water, the thing's gonna shoot right at you, a ton of water. And holy shit, did I flip. It worked perfectly. And he goes, ha! And he takes off, and I scream, and man, I was such a jackass. I could have just laughed it off, and then we could have had like a big tickle fight on the ground or something. But no, I think I like probably threw something and demanded that you say you're sorry and like probably punch you in the stomach or something.
You made me clean it up. I mean, which obviously I understand is fair now, but I was on my hands and knees getting scolded while I wiped it up with paper towel.
I think I was I think, you know what? Here's the thing. I think I was a bad dad. I really do think
I'll
that.
disagree with you there.
Really?
I think you just.
Well, being that you're a father now, you're 23 years old. Because when I look back at moments like that, I make myself think that I was just a reactionary jerk and I didn't do anything right.
No, you did fine. I feel like if you have not like really a temper, but you don't handle some things that happen that either startle you and then you're wet. I don't respond to those things well either.
Right.
No one's done that to me.
Right.
But
well, your kids are still young.
I don't think I would enjoy it like you would. I think I would have a poor reaction.
But you got a temper too, though. Yes. And I think that you get that from me. I think that most people do, and they it's just a matter of whether or not you can like harness that energy. I always struggled with it. For the longest time, I was terrible and could not control myself. Awful. But anyway, what were we going to say? You were about to interject something. Do you remember what it was?
I was 23 years old. The other day, I'm like, how old am I? I had the hardest time figuring out.
Oh, no.
How old I was like, am I 24 or 23?
You actually forgot how old you were?
For a second.
Oh, my God. Man,
Someone
life's moving fast.
How old are you again? I'm like 24. I'm not 24. I'm 23.
Oh, Jesus, you're so young, though. You're so young. You didn't really do it the traditional way.
No, not even close.
I mean, obviously, you had kids at a young age. And, a lot of people, I mean, you're way different than most other people. Does that ever creep into your mind as like, wait a minute, what's going on? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Does it affect you? I mean, what goes on up there? Because it's definitely different than what a lot of people may have experienced. Some people may have actually, but what's going on up here about that?
Just it's a lot of hard work. It's definitely going to get easier as time comes, the more I learn and the more help I get.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to come with time, even though I've had a ton of time. It's definitely something that...
What's going to come with time? What are you talking about?
Just the working out the kinks, figuring out how this whole thing really works, to like complete fluid motion.
You just got a great job at a place here in West Michigan that has... It's been different than the other places that you work. Why? What's better about it that makes it a better place?
It's definitely the people that are at that company. It's just they genuinely care about you.
Yeah.
And they want to make work enjoyable as well as getting the job done.
Okay.
So it's not just come to work, make the company money. They send the profits back to the employers.
Nice. You used to do a job that I made you do, and I talked about recently on the pod. It was delivering the advance newspaper. Now, I told that from my perspective. And now, did I send you out on your own? I sent you out on your own.
On my own.
You're probably 10?
I don't remember the
12?
age.
Something like that? And there were because that stupid goddamn newspaper, sorry, Dad, everybody in the neighborhood gets it, and it's impossible to not get it. I mean, the reason I brought it up is because it's going out of business, thank God.
I saw that.
Which is good news for the world, because that means that we'll be able to save the forest now, because that stupid thing's not going to be printed. But I was talking about how the whole business about me picking you up in the car and then throwing him out the window and all the shit that went down because of that. I got an email. I forgot who sent this, but whoever, I should give credit to it. I got an email from somebody about this exact thing, about the inability to get the Grand Valley Advance or the Advance newspapers to actually not be delivered. It goes like this. This is from Randall, I believe. The Advance. I remember when it was the Grand Valley Shopper's Guide. Funny story. Not long after my wife and I moved into our house in downtown Zeeland in 1997, I noticed we kept getting bagged paper thrown on the ground anywhere between the end of the driveway to under the cars. Often waterlogged if it rained. Sure, it was in a bag, but it didn't really matter. A little rain, it becomes a bag of paper mache. So it became my personal mission to cancel this thing. My stance was that I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. Who were they to deliver this unwanted paper? So it took me weeks of complaining to finally stop this free paper. Well, they finally stopped. However, a couple months passed, and they must have changed delivery people because it started being delivered all over again. After a call or two, I finally just gave up and accepted that the advance had bested me and just wasn't going away. It wasn't worth my time or efforts. However, it still irked me to pick it up out of the driveway to throw it in recycling every week. Then to add insult to injury, my wife eventually discovered a useful coupon in it. Oh, the humanity. God.
I remember lots of stuff from the advance, specifically. Now that I think about it, as you were reading that, I was just letting my...
Well, we only did one delivery.
We did...
Was it two?
Because I did the one by myself.
Yeah, and you got done at like midnight.
It was two of those massive like courier bags.
Right.
About 1,000
gigantic.
newspapers.
Yep.
There was two of them.
Yep.
You put me on my bike and told me to go.
Yep.
It was winter.
Yeah.
Near the end.
Yeah, it was cold as hell.
slushy.
I remember you crying. I remember you like, I'm like, toughen up. I'm trying to be like tough guy dad.
It was slush and it was horrible. I finished that one and then I finally said, Dad, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and it's such a shit show because they give you like half a cent every eighth paper. So you wind up literally with like 60 cents at the end of the day. And it's like, what is this? 1949, for God's sake? What is wrong with you people? Holy crap.
And then it got to the point
Yeah.
where you did it in your car.
Yeah,
and you were just throwing it out.
Yeah, we talked about that last pod.
What's funny about, not really funny, but one of the interesting things about that is there were certain houses on those routes for people that like with disabilities.
Oh yeah, the infirmed
that couldn't go to their driveway
some
to
guy
get
with
it.
no legs.
So you had to put it in a special spot, and you're driving by throwing it like on in their gutters and like halfway in their yard.
Some of those old folks, they like depend on the advance, either to read it or wipe their ass. And here I am throwing it in the driveway.
And you had that angry call from the lady who actually...
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we talked about that too. That was outstanding. And then of course I, without permission, played it on the radio and had to get a meeting or two on that one. My God. Awesome. I want to read you this story too, Jim.
Uh-huh.
All right. This is screwed up. This lady hit a jackpot at the MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland. Mm-hmm. It was a slot machine. Everything was good to go. She got big money. And, I don't think it was like millions of dollars, but it was a good amount of cash.
Okay.
I don't know how this is going on. She says, I'm super excited and I needed the money. The lady, her name is Cynthia Obi. She said the casino staff said, well, Ms. Obi, congratulations. Your ship has come in. There's like a pit boss there. Takes her over to where you would like cash in. Mm-hmm. And then they need your personal information. And what they did was they took down her name, address, social security number. But problem, it became evident later on that the casino, screwed up. And the number that they put down for her social security number of the however many digits are in that, I think, 9? They got one of the digits wrong. Mm-hmm. All right? And that became a huge problem. The social security number that they plugged in belonged to an individual who happened to owe, it was someone else's number.
Yeah.
Happened to owe the state of Maryland a hefty amount of money on child support.
Oh, no.
Ms. Zobi is like, wait a minute. That's can't be. All my daughters are, I'm old. My daughters are all old. I don't owe anyone child support. I've never paid child support. This is not correct. Mm-hmm. The woman said she would have been thousands of dollars richer by now. She did not reveal the exact amount of the jackpot, but the typo prevented her from getting 1 penny. Nothing. She got nothing. The state just took the money. Now, hold on. Why can't you just go back and fix it? How the hell is this even a thing? The state, okay, even if the state does take the money by mistake, it should be very simple at this point for the casino to say, hey, asshole, this is wrong. This idiot screwed it up. She's fired. Obi gets the money. Give us that back. How is that not possible?
Is that possible?
Well, why? I don't know why that they would keep it from her. I mean, all you have to do is explain it, right? But no, red tape has gotten in the way. She gets nothing. Let's see.
Has a casino gotten involved?
Yes, there's more. The Maryland woman, she did not reveal the exact amount of the jackpot. She didn't get a penny. Instead, the casino offered her a $200 play credit and drink vouchers for the night. They gave her waffles. Can you believe this? An MGM spokesperson said in a statement to Fox 5 DC, the casino is aware of the unfortunate error, and I can't read, and is working on fixing the situation.
They gave her more money to spend at the casino.
We'll give you credit to play. Aces are high. Here you go.
That's like giving someone money for them to pay you back with the same money.
Right. I might have fallen for it, but I'm glad she didn't. Due to MLGCA, Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Agency rules and Maryland state law, we cannot provide an additional payout for this jackpot. What? How? Just crack it open and give it to her. You know how much money casinos make? It's quite literally a license to print money in there. It's not like they're hard up. When was the last time you heard of a casino going belly up because no one was there to blow their welfare check?
That's unfortunate. I hope she does get that resolved. I would be upside down if that happened.
It says here, if she presents the proper identification credentials to the Maryland Gaming Commission, they will provide her with the appropriate payout. All right. Well, maybe they'll fix it, the statement read. We apologize for the inconvenience that has caused Mrs. Obi. Obi said she's frustrated with the situation and just wants the money that she won. She says, now I'm at the point, this is insane. You guys are a $1 billion corporation. She said, you do the research. I won fair and square. I just want my money. Yeah, that's a thing. They should give, excuse me. I don't think it's some big $1 billion payout. This is all horseshit. The fact that they did this to her, just give that lady her money. Come on. Jim, how's the Dave Ramsey app going? We talked about that on the pod recently. I don't know if you caught wind of that.
Oh, yeah. I did not catch wind of that, but someone commented on the podcast today. It's going great.
How did you discover the Dave Ramsey app, which will help you to save your money?
Aubrey actually did.
Really?
Aubrey called.
She said, hey, check this out?
Yep. You can definitely, there's a ton of things in there to modify your budget to move money around if necessary for anything from vitamins to spending time with your family, going out and somewhere.
Can any one of those things by Dave be buy less frozen food so there's a little room in the freezer?
I think that goes both ways.
Dude, there is no way. You have at least 2/3 of the space in that freezer.
Half.
Oh, there's much more than half. My God, these two, Jim and Aubrey and the kids, go out, and if they go to Costco, it's like, oh, shit. Here comes the dump truck full of 80 pounds of Nutella.
Because that goes in the freezer, right?
Well, I'm just saying, they're not only the freezer, but the pantry. It's unbelievable how much food you guys buy. Ask Dave if there's you should eat the food that you've purchased before you decide to buy more food. You realize that, don't you?
I'm not the one who makes the list.
Could you suggest, perhaps, that you eat some of the food to the powers that be?
I could.
Then perhaps you won't have to, seriously, you'd be a millionaire right now if you hadn't purchased all the food that you've already purchased.
Might be true.
All right. Here we are in Madison's bedroom with the extra pod. Is there anything you want to conclude with these people? Is there anything pressing, burning you want to address? Have you learned anything in the pod that about that you didn't know about me or anybody or anything so far?
So far, I've gotten the vibe that a couple people don't like the swears.
Well, your grandpa for sure.
Mom said it's not really necessary.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that the level that it was here is fine. I think it can be too much. And I actually got an email from somebody. I was like, God. I think I'm going to try to couch it somewhat. But for the most part, we need to have those swear words. I fully support that type of language. All right. That is going to do it for the extra pod. These are going to get better. I swear to God, as more and more time passes. I appreciate you for being here.
Yep.
Appreciate you watching and listening to the extra pod, Tier 1 and Tier 2. You are awesome. Thank you so much. We will talk to you further down the road. Stop that thing for me. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Let's hit the X.
It's your podcast. You act like it's mine.
Hit the X. All right.
Are you sure?
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Hit cancel.
This is going good.
I want to say this, too. I always forget to plug this stuff. if you want a t-shirt, go to ericzaneshow.com. You probably already know that. But the styles, in fact, you can get long sleeve, short sleeve, any color you want. Styles, customized Zaniac t-shirts, hoodies, tumblers, more merch arriving soon. I can't say exactly because Jericho will scream at me and yell. If you are interested in advertising on the Eric Zane Show, reach out eric@ericzaneshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this edition of Not the Best of the Eric Zane Show podcast. But fear not, I'm posting to Patreon. Okay, there's going to be some fun stuff up there. I'm not exactly sure what because I haven't dug into it. It's kind of like when I post it, then I'll figure out what I'm posting. But it's a lot of stuff from many, many years ago that I found on an old file sharing site, and I want you to hear it. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Okay, so for the NFK, the Queen of the Forest, the Queen of the Wasteland, the Queen of the Nighttime World, and the Queen of the Underworld, and Benny, the One-Eyed Wonder Dog, and O'Neill, and Bruce, and Daisy, and Milo, and Lincoln, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.